about me, 'cause I'm cursed to entertain the crowd that laughs so too soon. All I have is my pain, sharp and way out of tune. Oh, but you know I feel a bit ashamed, since I'm still here marooned. You lose track of her pain when you're working your wound. You lose track of her pain when you're working your wound. You lose track of her pain when you're working your wound. And you lose track of her love. You lose track of her pain. I just hop back on that train and keep working. I 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 keep working. And that's how the song goes. That's how the song goes. That's how the song goes. But the problem is, it never stops.
Does that deserve an amen, or does that deserve an amen? Good morning to each and all of you. My name is Reverend Chris Long, and I have the honor and privilege to be serving as your acting assistant minister. Our opening words this morning were crafted by the Reverend Don Colley, titled A Litany of Wholeness. May I invite you to participate in this litany after I share with you the words? Yes. The words go, we let go of who we ought to be and embrace who we are. Let's say the whole thing together. We let go of who we ought to be and embrace who we are. The reading begins. Because there have been times when shame has crushed our ability to be wholehearted, we let go of who we ought to be and embrace who we are. Because we have not always had the courage to be imperfect, we let go of who we ought to be and embrace who we are. Because we have struggled to have compassion for ourselves and others, we let go of who we ought to be and embrace who we are. Because we've been afraid of our own vulnerability, we let go of who we ought to be and embrace who we are. Because we sometimes are too scared to live authentically, we let go of who we ought to be and embrace who we are. Because we want to be wholehearted people, confident in our worthiness and our belonging. We let go of who we ought to be and embrace who we are. I invite you to rise in body or spirit as we sing this morning's opening hymn, number 1 in your gray hymnal.
Good morning. I'm Reverend Kimberly Tomchek Carlson. I use she, her pronouns, and it is my honor to serve as the Minister of Faith Formation. The story I have today is called Red, and it's by Michael Hall. It's one of those books that you really need the pictures for, so I'm going to hold up a little bit. You'll get the gist of it, I think, though. He was red. Kinda. But he wasn't very good at it. Oh dear, that's a fire truck. His teacher thought he needed more practice. I'll draw a red strawberry, and then you'll draw a red strawberry. You can do this, really. But he couldn't, really. Like this? Oh my, let's try again. His mother thought that he just needed to mix with other colors. Why don't you two, she said to yellow and red, go out and draw a nice round orange? A really big one, said yellow. A really orange one, said red. But they made a big greenish one. Yuck, said yellow. Oops, said red. His grandparents thought that he was not warm enough. Your class is making self-portraits for Parents' Night. Wear this nice, warm, red scarf. Nice, it's so you. But it just so wasn't. Oh dear me. Everyone seemed to have something to say. Amber said, sometimes I wonder if he's really red at all. Hazelnut said, don't be silly, it says red on his label. Cocoa Bean said, he came that way from the factory. Fuchsia said, frankly, I don't think he's very bright. Grape said, well, I think he's lazy. Army Green said, right, he's got to press harder. Steel Gray said, really apply himself. Sunshine said, give him time, he'll catch on. And Sea Green said, of course he will. But he didn't catch on. Green painted a green frog, black painted a black sheep, brown painted a brown cow, but red painted a blue ant. All the art supplies really wanted to help. The masking tape thought he was broken inside and wrapped masking tape around it. This will hold you together. The scissors thought his label was just probably too tight and took a little snip. One snip should do it, said the scissors. I thought that he wasn't sharp enough, and so the sharpener said, stay still, let me fix that right up for you. But even with all our help and all his hard work, not red. He just couldn't get the hang of it. And then one day he met a new friend, Barry. And Barry said, would you like to make a blue ocean for my boat? I can't, I'm red. Well, will you try? So he did. Thank you, it's perfect. And it was. You're welcome, said Red. It was so easy. And he didn't stop there. He made bluebells and blue jeans and a blue bird and a blue whale and blueberries. I'm blue! He was blue, and everyone was talking. Olive said, my son is brilliant. Amber said, who could have known he was blue? Hazelnut said, I always said he was blue. Cocoa Bean said, it was obvious. Berry said, his blue ocean really lifted me. Sea Green said, all of his work makes me happy. Brown said, his blue strawberries are my favorite. Apple Green said, he's so intense. Yellow said, I'm gonna make a green lizard with him, a really big one. Gray said, he's working on a huge new project. And Scarlet said, he's really reaching for the sky. And he really was. The end.
May we now enter to a time of meditation or prayer, followed by silence, then followed by the seated singing of Spirit of Life, number 123. This morning's prayer. Spirit of Life, Universe, Gaia, God, be with us now. As we enter this morning's service with all that is going on in the world, in this country, in this state, and in our own lives, there is so much to hold. I invite you to take a few deep cleansing breaths. If you are here today honoring a birthday, anniversary of some sort, or any other reason to celebrate, we uplift the joy you may be experiencing. Let us know so that we can celebrate with you. It's also true if you are going through hard times, dealing with addiction of any kind, the loss of a job, a new diagnosis for yourself or for someone you hold dear. Please share those troubles with us as well. For we are a community that leans into joy and to sorrow when needed. Globally, friends, the Ukraine still bombing on this Orthodox Easter weekend from Russia. The Congo and other parts of the world that get little or none of our attention with their conflicts and wars. May we hold those there in our hearts. As we also know, things in Palestine, Gaza, and Israel are still so unsettled and people are dying. We are still in a very, very, very fragile ceasefire with Iran, which is impacting the entire region, and bombs are being dropped on Lebanon. There must be an end to war now. Closer to home, we hold in our hearts and thoughts Mr. Sansour and his family regarding ICE detention. We also hold this in this community and around the country who are feeling the economic impact of the war in Iran. We say no more. We can demand peace as a moral obligation. On a somewhat positive note, even with its complexities, NASA and the world welcome safely home those who are aboard Artemis II. And all involved, we give our thanks for a successful mission. Friends, there is hope. As we continue to settle into this hour of worship, may we rest any of our troubles if just for an hour. Please find time to breathe, a few moments of inner peace, for as we know, together, we can create space for courage, healing, and hope. Ashe, Shalom, Salam, blessed be, may it be so, and Amen.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the First Unitarian Society of Milwaukee. I'm Austin Pulowski. My pronouns are he, him, his, and I am pleased to serve as your worship associate. We are a faith community of many identities. We welcome people of all genders, sexualities, ages, races, ethnicities, histories, abilities, and bodies. We welcome your mind, your heart, and your spirit. We welcome all you are carrying with you today and all your heart longs to set down. We welcome all the people watching online as we live stream this service. Hello, online folks. We enthusiastically welcome guests joining us today. If you're a guest visiting in person and want to connect with us, please fill out a welcome card located in the pew rack in front of you and drop it in the offering plates that will come around in a few minutes. If you are visiting online and want to connect, a link to connect with us will appear soon in the chat, and you can click on that and fill that out. Someone from church will reach out and connect with you. After the service, we invite you to join us for a social hour across the hall in the Lean House Common Room. And some accessibility notes. Hearing assist devices and large print hymnals and orders of service are at the back of the sanctuary, along with worship activity bags for children and anyone who wants them. There's a fragrance-free area in the front right pews, and if you're watching online, you can enable YouTube's closed captioning on your viewing device. And now for some announcements. Adults and children grade 1 and up are invited to join in singing the chorus to The Garden Song as a prelude music for Sunday services on April 19th. We will gather in the sanctuary at 8:20 a.m. next Sunday for a brief rehearsal before the first service. Please email Alyssa if you and your children would like to participate. She will then send you the lyrics and a rehearsal track. Okay, I now invite you to share in our first church purpose by joining me in our unison affirmation of our mission, which is printed in your order of service. We gather to nurture the spirit, engage the mind, and inspire action. Every week, we practice our values through sharing our resources. Our pledges are at the core of our spiritual practice of generosity. In addition, the church shares half of all non-pledge cash in our offering plate with the community organization, practicing our value of interdependence. Today, we share the plate with Franciscan Peacemakers. Franciscan Peacemakers connects women survivors of sexual exploitation to safe housing, meaningful work, and a healing network of support. The offering will now be gratefully received as we sing seated hymn number 131. I invite all children, youth, and faith formation volunteers to sing the first verse, then follow Reverend Kimberly to the Lean House Common Room, and then downstairs for faith formation. If your child needs to check in, please join them. May the practice of giving bring us joy. I want to talk a little bit about time. Time is such a strange thing. We measure it in years and milestones, in before and after. Sometimes it moves so slowly, we think it will never carry us anywhere new. And other times we wake up and realize years have passed, and somehow we are not the same person we once were. I've come to believe that some of the most important things in this life, grief, healing, faith, belonging, can really only be understood through time. Because time doesn't fix all things at once. It works quietly, gradually, sometimes in ways we don't even notice until much later. And I learned that lesson very early on. I grew up with a mom who struggled very deeply. She was narcissistic, alcoholic, and living with untreated bipolar disorder. And from a very young age, it felt like it was my job to manage her. Her emotions, her moods, her well-being, that became my normal. And for 10 years, I carried that responsibility as a child, until my mom took her own life. And sometimes I joke, because humor is one of the ways in which I cope. Imagine the scars that left. But the truth is, those scars are real. For the last 15 years, I've been healing from that loss. And one of the most important things I've learned, something that was given to me early on, is this: time heals. Not all wounds, but it heals. It softens things. It makes the pain less sharp, less constant, but it also can be complicated. Because time isn't something that moves forward. It isn't something that it's something that we carry in memories. And memories can bring everything rushing back, just like it happened yesterday. So sometimes healing isn't linear. Sometimes you feel like you're starting over. Time heals, but it can also hurt. And in a strange way, that same idea of time shows up in my journey with Unitarian Universalism. My time here has been funny. And by funny, I don't mean humorous. I mean awkward, uneven, a little uncomfortable at times. My husband came here and he immediately found his place. He dove in, got involved, and within 3 years, he's sitting on the board. He loves this community. He loves all of you. And me, I'm honestly a little surprised that I'm standing up here right now. It's not to say I don't love all of you very much. But when I first came to First Church, I came here because of Ryan. That's the truth. I love him deeply, and I wanted to support something that mattered to him so much. So I showed up, I smiled, I was present, but I didn't dive in. I didn't feel ready to. I took a back seat, I stayed on the edges, and I let this be something that belonged to him more than me. And what I've come to realize is that's okay, because again, time. It took me time to begin healing from my mom's death, and it has taken me time to find my place here. It's still taking me time. Time to feel connected, time to feel grounded, time to feel like I belong. And I don't always feel that connection. There are still moments where I feel like I'm just observing, just passing through, but little by little, something shifts. Time doesn't just heal, it creates space, space to breathe, space to rediscover yourself, space to decide who you want to be and what you want to build. And for me, that space has slowly started to include this community. It's sad in a way that I know what it's like to lose a parent to depression and suicide. That's not a club anyone asked to join, but it's also given me something that I can share with others who find themselves there. If I could offer anything, it would be this: time heals. Not completely, but it heals. And it gives you space, space to grow, and space to grieve, space to find your way, whether it's in your own life or here or in a place like this. And however long it takes, that's okay, because it's my time, because it's your time. Take your time. Thank you.
I remember when I owned everything, the sun and the moon and the rain, and my domain stretched and yawned along the astral plane. The universe is a toy in the mind of a boy. And life is a movie too, starring you. Your whole family is the cast and crew. That's the secret between God and you. But ain't it strange how it all makes perfect sense once your life becomes evidence of the need to feel love is more than real. Because your mother's love might seem insane, it's how she really knows everything. Too bad it takes so long to see what you've been missing. Too bad it takes so long to see what you've been missing. Too bad it takes so long to see what you've been missing. Too bad it takes so long to see what you've been missing. Real is a construct. It's the runner's private zone. It's a personal sunset you drive off into alone.
Let me let the chills leave my body from that song. Thank you, Alyssa. Let's give it up for the music. And the band. Woo. Today's sermon topic and theme: embracing possibility. Unitarian Universalism, is healing possible? And I hope this service provides us all with food for thought, no matter how long you have been a Unitarian Universalist, or if today is in fact your very first time visiting a Unitarian Universalist church environment. You are welcome here. Amen? Amen. Y'all open to participating in a quasi-social science experiment with me this morning? Okay, thanks for going along, I've written. First of all, how many of you are guests today or have been a Unitarian Universalist, let's say for up to 5 years? Please raise your hand. Look around. We're going to look around a little bit. Some folks who have been here, guests, you are welcome here. Next, for those who have been here up to 6 years and still haven't become a member, still not sure if this church is for you, or if you've been a member of this church or other Unitarian Universalist churches for 6 years to 15 years, raise your hand. Look around, we'll see. Thank you, thank you. Yes, we are glad you are here. Those who have been members of this or other Unitarian Universalist congregations, some called churches, for 16 to 25 years, raise your hand. Somebody's in the balcony, they're raising their hand way up there. So, did you know this? Did you have any idea who you're surrounded by? Nope, it's okay. And there's one more. 26 to 40 years. The last question is, who here has been a Unitarian Universalist almost your entire life, or definitely your whole life? Raise your hands. There are a few of us, and I call you all the keepers of the faith, those who have been here to make my being here, many of our being here, possible. That's good work. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Again, the title and theme for this morning's service: Embracing Possibilities. Unitarian Universalism, is healing possible? As I begin today's sermon, I wanted to thank Reverend Kimberly for that cool story. Wasn't Red a cool story? And of course, to Austin. Wow. I'm sitting back there dapping tears because it was so moving, and I thank you for sharing. Through this sermon, I hope to explore how Unitarian Universalism for me, and I assume many of you in this church in particular, is building a new way. New ways to be both truly religious and or spiritual, if you like. I will briefly explore aspects of my 26-year personal journey into this faith that I can share has been and is leading me on a path towards more spiritual religious healing. And I will also share with you some of the relatively recent social science research on the realities of religious trauma and spiritual and or religious healing that I found, and I'm still working to process. Y'all with me for this? In thinking about this month's sermon, Soul Matters theme of Embrace Possibilities, and in working with Reverend Jennifer Nordstrom, our senior minister, Reverend Kimberly, and our 10, 12 strong worship associates, I've spent time musing over, is it possible to heal with religion, Unitarian Universalism in particular, some of us from religious and spiritual wounds that we carry coming from other religious traditions within Unitarian Universalism, and for us who have never had a religious upbringing at all, there still is healing possible. If one is seeking some form of community, religious community in particular, and we carry being kicked out of a faith community, experiences of sexism, homophobia, transphobia in those communities, and in worse situations, outright abuse of any form by those communities, is spiritual healing possible? As you might imagine, there are any number of resources around this very subject on the internet. I happen to find a few that I feel provide some of the latest research into this very subject. One study in particular is titled Percentage of U.S. Adults Suffering from Religious Trauma, a Sociological Study. This study was pulled together by an organization called the Global Center for Religious Research, and was published by an organization, a journal called Socio-Historical Examination of Religion and Ministry in the summer of 2023. Please bear with me as I share directly quoting from the abstract of that study. Quote, this sociological study aimed to ascertain the percentage of adults living in the United States who have experienced religious trauma, RT, and what percentages presently suffer from religious trauma symptoms now. After compiling data from 1,581 adults living in the United States, this study concludes it is likely that around 1/3, 27% to 33% of U.S. adults conservatively have experienced religious trauma at some point in their lives. That number increases to 37% if those suffering from any 3 of the 6 major symptoms are included. Furthermore, the study showed it's also likely that around 10 to 15% of U.S. adults currently suffer from religious trauma if only the most conservative numbers are highlighted. Listen to this part of the abstract. Nonetheless, since 37% of respondents personally know people who potentially suffer from RT, and 90% of those respondents know between 1 and 10 people who likely suffer from RT, then it could be argued that as many as 1 in 5, 20% of U.S. adults suffer from major religious trauma. Is this news to anybody? It is to me, even though I live with it. Religious trauma, as defined by North American Committee on Religious Trauma on November 8th, 2020, provided a more clinically justifiable definition of religious trauma. It states, religious trauma results from an event, series of events, relationships, or circumstances within or connected to religious beliefs, practices, or structures that is experienced by an individual as overwhelming or disruptive and has lasting adverse effects on a person's physical, mental, social, emotional, or spiritual well-being. The study provided these 6 major symptoms of religious trauma. They include anxiety, stress, fear, depression, shame, and nightmare. Any of those three of the 6 are where religious trauma exists. According to the study, friends, which is not exhaustive, as many as 70% of folks, many in this room, have never experienced religious trauma. Thus, say thus, making this and similar religious communities critically important. Amen? Amen. There is hope. Briefly citing a blog I found called Existential Psychiatry, it offered a post titled Healing from Religious Trauma. In the blog, 6 tips for healing from religious trauma were provided. They are: acknowledging the trauma, seek professional support, reconnect with your inner self, establish boundaries. Can I say that one again? Establish boundaries, build a supportive community, and develop new practices. That sound good, y'all? Friends, if any of you resonate with none or many of these points I have shared, there is hope. I believe in and through the faithful practice of the embodiment of our Unitarian Universalist values, spiritual and religious healing is possible. Yes? I don't believe you believe it's true. Yes? Yes. Yes. As of May 1st is fast approaching, too fast for me. I will mark 9 months of being here with you all. I continue to be humbled to be getting to know so many of you more and more each day, and enjoying immensely finding space for making a personal life for myself here in Milwaukee as well. Much has taken place through one-on-one conversations with many of you over tea, delicious meals in your homes and in the community, and through several worship services now. We have shared a lot. I have worked to share with you my personal 26-year journey into Unitarian Universalism, both as a layperson and as an ordained minister for 16 years. Of course, of my journey into this faith, after 30 plus years of being in 3 different African American religious traditions, they are African Methodist Episcopal Zion, Black Catholic, and Black Baptist. All of this was very complicated and painful in the many years before I decided to become a Unitarian Universalist. And this may be an understatement. And all of those years in religious community, culturally, social environments that underscored not only my religious traumatic experience that I endured, I was humbled to be able to share aspects of it with you all in my March 22nd services about my journey here. As you might imagine, the realities of living in this society, coming packaged as I am, carries burdens that only exacerbate what I have experienced before coming into Unitarian Universalism. And coming into Unitarian Universalism, though not a perfect picture, as I have experienced racism and homophobia within the UU context, less so here, I'm grateful to say, I can say with little doubt, spiritual and religious healing is happening for me. What about for you? I wanted to uplift some of the spiritual, theological, and religious treasures I have and am gaining through my Unitarian Universalist journey, which brings me to be here with you. I love your smile. People are smiling at me. I don't know. Okay, I'm off track. I just looked up and I was like, the first being one song that we all know so well and that we sing it each week, Spirit of Life. Imagine it's the fall of 1999. You're in a space on the UW-Madison campus when I and Reverend Kimberly would gather each week for over a year with about 20 to 25 other young adults. We would gather for meals, weekly check-ins, and time for deep connection and worship. Each week we sang Spirit of Life. So to be here all of these years later, where this song is baked into the liturgy and worship life of this church, is truly a blessing. There has been and is some healing that is touched often when singing that song with you in this community. Although my being a layperson within Unitarian Universalism was a relatively short period before deciding to apply and be accepted into Star King School for the Ministry in Berkeley, California, less than 5 years in, I was already in seminary. I learned a lot while being a layperson. Almost from the moment I entered James Reed Unitarian Universalist congregation in Madison in 1999, I was gifted, I say gifted, the possibilities of studying Unitarian Universalist and Unitarian Universalist history, theologies, and to attend many, many churches. I was deeply involved in many conferences, workshops, and community events within the Unitarian Universalist context, all before I ever went to seminary. So, studying in Berkeley from the fall of 2005 to 2009 was hard work, and a lot of healing took place. Even as my second nephew was murdered, I was diagnosed and treated for prostate cancer. My dad died my third year of seminary, and I finished fellowshipping, graduation, and being ordained in 3 months. Healing did happen for me there as we dug more deeply into UU history, into theologies that I had no understanding of, and living our faith tradition. We were also able to study at 7 other seminaries in the area, and if you chose, you could take classes at UC Berkeley. I didn't, so I'm not as educated as I might have been, but you get the point. Well before seminary and within my family, being involved in social and racial justice causes and in organizing from an early age has been a source of great healing for me, I'm sure for many of you. From leading professionally diversity and inclusion training for over 20 years at that point, and then now being involved in Unitarian Universalism's racial and social justice efforts at the local congregational level, at our regional level, and at the denominational levels, is leading, and I said has led, is still leading me to more healing that I must lean into. Friends, hear me on this. Not before 2005, and through my studies at Star King School for the Ministry, whose educational philosophy is educating to counter oppressions for just and sustainable communities, I began to learn the academic, theological, and on-the-ground applications of the religious imperative to study anti-racism, anti-oppression, and multiculturalism in doing my own personal work. Ministers don't have it all figured out, y'all. Who here has it figured out? I saw one hand go, no, just kidding. It is individual and communal work that our faith tradition is asking of me and is asking of us all. Paramount to all of this has been and are the relationships I have developed with Unitarian Universalists literally all over this country. Connections with people in over 20 congregations I have visited. Some I have led worship in and engaged in anti-racism, anti-oppression trainings. Me leading with other ministerial colleagues in their congregations to do the deeper work our faith is asking, again in a variety of contexts. Also, I have now lived in up to 8 different states. Hello. I have served in 5 Unitarian Universalist congregations, and now to be here with you all. I think we're getting to know each other, amen? Amen. I can say with some certainty, so much more to learn and share and grow into, but healing is happening for me. Anybody else let me hear? Healing happening? Yes. And I have a kick-butt, sexy black male therapist for 3 years, right? It notes you need to get help. Ministers cannot solve all of we look like magic makers, but we ain't. If you have access to resources to do therapy, go for it. Did I say sexy black male therapist? I will see him online next Friday. As we begin to bring this last section of today's sermon to its close, I have a few questions. Please don't raise your hand unless you're feeling really courageous. But maybe, just maybe, think about and continue to sit with where you are spiritually, theologically, around your own healing, as we all move towards building more of the beloved community within and beyond these walls. The questions are, anyone here still needs some spiritual healing around sexism or internalized gender inferiority? How about homophobia or transphobia? And if you're anything like me, which I don't see too many people in here look like me yet, ha 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 ha. I need to do the spiritual mental health healing around racism, the racism I feel that is continuously needing of healing with and through us all. Again, no need to raise your hand, but any of you need healing from these isms. And is this a place where we can do that work unapologetically? Shame, throw it out the window. Guilt, throw it out the window. I'm ad-libbing here. I'm going to hurry up and get on out of here. The question I started with this morning in selecting today's service, is healing possible through our tried and true religious theological beliefs as Unitarian Universalists, dating back, our theologies date back 450 years, y'all, over 450 years. We are in a time when many are seeking religious communities where they can better trust, places to be in, to heal spiritually, and to do justice. Say justice. Justice. Mercy. Mercy. All centered in love. All centered in love. Is this a place where that can happen or is happening spiritually or religiously? Yes. I believe it is, y'all. We got some healing of wounds to do, and we got to continue to work into building a new way. Amen? Amen. Ashe, shalom, salam, blessed be. May it be so, and all the people say? Amen. All the people say? Amen. Thank you very much.
Your green trees, clear blue streams, bringing me peace of mind. That's the sound of the healing ground. Mother Nature keeps on turning this whole world all around. In my ears, all I hear is the sound of the healing ground.
I believe that's the sound of the healing ground. Amen? Amen. Thank you, Alyssa, and house band, and Lee, and all the people, and everybody. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Our closing words today are by our beloved colleague, the Reverend Dr. Rebecca Savage. The title of it is Our Calling in the World. She writes, "We have come to the end of our service, but not our calling in the world. We close our time together with the humble reminder that justice and equity are our spiritual practices to embrace. Each day, every day, we are blessed to be the embodiment of what is possible when justice and equity ground us in all that we do. May we go forth with the light and the warmth of the chalice in our hearts until we are together again." Amen. Please rise in body or spirit for our closing hymn, number 117 in your teal hymnal. We're building a new way, y'all. Building a new way.